We might not be Taylor Swift individually, but together.
We're still not anywhere close, but we do love it and appreciate it. Let's be real. Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How was your week?
It's good. I have no phone right now.
You have no...
really weird.
Why? What's happening?
Because last night I went to go see Alan Starzinski's show at UCB. That's called Slut Boy.
Slut Boy.
Hold on. It's quite a title. And I don't know what happened, but I was walking into the show at UCB and they asked for my ticket, and they had given me a little ticket that then you hand in. But then for some reason, I don't know, my brain got confused. My wires got crossed. And so I pulled my phone out. Do you know? I don't know. And then I ended up just throwing my phone on the ground on accident. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it hit so hard. It was I knew that it was clearly destroyed. And even though I have a case on it, but I didn't have a screen thing on it because, my fingers rarely work on my phone anyway. It's so.
Yeah. And then it's an existential crisis.
Yeah.
It's when the automatic faucet never will go on
Never goes
for me.
on for me
and
either.
I'm invisible.
I am invisible. I think I am. There's something going on with me. But anyway, so that's why I didn't have a screen protector on, but it just totally shattered. And then it wasn't just shattered. It was lines of electronic lines through it, and it was flickering, and it was just wild. So
no good.
No good. It was very
TV
dead.
vibes.
It's very dead. So I had to make a Genius Bar appointment, and then I took it in, and then they were like, "We're gonna just take this from here. You can leave now. We've got the phone."
Oh, no.
And then I'll have to go back later today, this evening, and retrieve it. But
the most spectacular phone smashing I ever saw was our friend John Hodgman, who you may know. Do you guys remember the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC ads starring Justin Long?
It's so weird to me that you're saying this to qualify John Hodgman, because I feel we all know who John Hodgman is, not just from I'm a Mac, I'm a PC, but just because from the Daily Show, old school Daily Show, from all of the things. But maybe people don't
when
know.
I worked for David Letterman, I would have to explain to people who David Letterman was. And he was he was the number one late night host and at the top of his game. So, that's the reality, is that, you just have to, because how many times have people come up to you and been like, "Oh, I know you, you're from that show, blah, blah, blah," and they say the wrong show and then they call you the wrong name. They know you're someone, they just don't know exactly who. That is the amount of attention most people pay to people who are on various TV shows. Anyway, I'm explaining our friend John Hodgman in the context of the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC ads, because Justin Long portrayed the Mac and John Hodgman played the nerd who was the PC in the commercial. Mm-hmm. And people could never, seemingly, in my experience, could never wrap their heads around the fact that John Hodgman was actually a Mac in real life. He was in support of Mac. He had been hired by Apple to be in there. People really thought that he was a PC fan. And so when they would catch him out in public with an iPhone, I feel they would feel they really caught him. They'd be like, "I saw the PC guy with an iPhone. Even he loves iPhones." And he'd be like, "Yeah, I mean, I work for that's the job I'm working for. I'm playing
really funny.
The villain in the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC." Not that it was a villainous character. Anyway. I went to visit him one time. He was visiting Massachusetts, my home state, his home state. I was in Massachusetts visiting my mom, and we went to this old-fashioned shopping mall that I loved in this town, Northampton, Thorns Marketplace. And my phone had a tiny crack in the screen. And John was like, your phone screen is cracked? And I was like, yeah, I don't get a free new iPhone like you probably do. Like if I crack my phone, it stays cracked.
We're dead.
And he was like, I don't get new free iPhones like every week or whatever. He was like, but I can't imagine. How did you crack your screen? And I was like, I dropped it. And he was like, how did you drop your phone? He was teasing me, but he was like, I have never once dropped my phone in all the history of all the time I've owned an iPhone. I've never once dropped my phone and cracked the screen. And I was like, well, good for you. You're super coordinated. Not one second later.
No. Of course, he cursed himself.
He went to take his phone out of his pocket and it like the corner caught on the edge of his pocket and it flew across this antique shopping mall like 10 feet away and smashed to bits. And I was like, I remember it smashing to bits, but maybe it just cracked. I don't know what happened. But all I know is he cursed himself by saying, and he admitted that he had cursed himself by saying he had never dropped his phone. And not only did he drop it, but he like flung it across a crowded mall.
Listen, you got to be careful with the things that you say. I'm out here telling you, you have to be careful.
Because maybe he didn't know I'm a little witch. And I made that happen with my mind.
Well, I know. My nose still turns red when I eat gluten. Guys, if you don't know that story, we don't have time here. Do your own research. Oh, wait. Speaking of smashing things, though, I have to tell you. So, John left town for work for a long time. And before he left, we were going to do
boif, in case people didn't listen last week.
Yeah, the guy that I'm seeing. Whatever.
Or read the rags.
Also, I got really mad. I sent him the pictures of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and I was like, they're clearly making out. No one's saying they're making out. And he's like, well, Page Six is probably afraid of her. Backlash. I'm like,
probably afraid. Yeah, people are
good point.
Other
good point.
Other things they're gossiping about.
Anyway, listen. So I was like, let's do something fun before you leave for work, like the night before he left. And so I was thinking about things to do, and I made an appointment at this place called the Ragery, where you go break stuff. I don't know why. I just thought this is a weird thing.
I've
never gone to a rage room. I thought it would be maybe fun for us to go do it, right? But then something else happened. I got into a magic show that is by this guy who had seen once before. He used to perform at the Nomad Hotel in this secret show that was really hard to get into back in the day. The Nomad Hotel no longer exists. Dan White is his name. He's a magician. The magician that he is performing at the Fotografskia in New York, which is the incredible photography museum that actually is from originally Stockholm, Sweden.
Amazing.
So it's a limited engagement at the Fotografskia.
Right.
And it was totally sold out. And so I was like, well, we'll just go to this rage room. But I emailed just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case I could get in. And I got us in the last second. They reached out and were like, you're in. So that was very exciting. But then it meant, I had already paid for this rage room thing. And I felt like we didn't have time to do both. And also I wanted to wear a nice dress.
Yeah.
The rage room, I was going to just be wearing, you know what I mean? I was like,
yeah.
It's a whole different night. It's a whole different night.
Yeah.
But so I called the rage room and I was like, I can't make it tonight, but I already paid for it because it's you prepay, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we can just reschedule. So I rescheduled it for the weekend. And I was like, I'm going to take cricket. First of all, I want to say the magic show was fucking nuts. And if you haven't seen this magician, Dan White.
Dan White.
Maybe we try to get him on our special.
Okay.
Maybe we have Dan White come do some magic. I love him. First of all, he did some things that were insane. And it's the show. I didn't remember a ton of, I remembered some tricks from the Nomad, but there were definitely new things. And the show's a little bit bigger at the Fotografskia. The Nomad was a very, very small room. This is like quite a bit bigger. There's like a little bit more production value to it. But anyway, if you are coming to New York, it's like themagician.com, I think, and it's at the Fotografskia, and I don't know how much longer he's doing it, but it was like sold out for several weeks when I looked. You know what I mean? There was like one date available like mid-October, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, all I'm saying, guys, one of the best things I've seen. It was so good. We had the best
amazing.
time. So fun.
I also feel like you are planning activities exactly in the same way that a Real Housewives. I feel like an episode of Real Housewives would be like, we can go to a rage room or a magic show, but either way, we have to talk about what's been going on in the friend group or whatever. Or the other big thing is axe throwing. Have you ever done axe throwing?
Have never. But there is a place on the Lower East Side that I believe combines axe throwing with rage rooming.
Oh my God.
It's too many things.
I feel like if you would have gone to the rage room, you would have seen them taping an episode of a show. Like, I feel like...
Can I just tell you something?
What?
So anyway, we had the best time at the magic show, but then I made this appointment for me and Cricket. Not knowing, Cricket's a real wild card, guys. I never know if she's going to be into a thing or if she's going to be like, that's lame or whatever. I brought it up to her the next day. I was like, hey, this weekend, Mark was out of town for the whole weekend. So it was just me and the Cricks. I'm like, hey, I got us an appointment at this place. I don't know if you've ever heard of these, but it's like a place where you go and you break stuff. And she's like, a rage room? I've always wanted to go to a rage room. And I'm like, fantastic. So me and Cricks had a really lovely weekend. I took her to the Armory Art Show. We looked at art. She pointed out things that she was interested in. There were like two things that I kind of wanted to buy. I haven't purchased anything, but there were two things that I was like, ugh, I'd love to buy these pieces. Then at a certain point, she was like, over it. It's too many people. She's like, we got to get out of here. We did painting. We painted. We made dinner. Anyway, we hung out with Jen, finally got to see Jen. My friend Will Daly was in town. We saw Will Daly. He taught us some magic tricks, some card tricks. That was fun. Wow. Cricket and I learned some magic from Will.
Threat.
He really is. He really is a triple threat. And then on Sunday, we made our way for our rage room appointment. And it was really funny. Like, I don't know kind of what I was expecting, but it was like, I should have taken more pictures, but I was also nervous that I was going to break my phone. Maybe this is like maybe my phone situation is universal payback for going to a rage room and breaking other things.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know.
The guy was so nice who runs this rage room. And he was like, I'm going to set up all kinds of extra stuff. And then he's like, if you guys come back, you can bring stuff from your own house to break if you want. And we're like, okay. He's like, people bring all kinds of things. You can bring whatever you want to break. And we're like, okay. And it's like, they have this wall. Have you ever been to one?
I've never been.
Okay. So at this one, I can only speak to my experience at the Ragery on the Lower East Side. So at this one, he had like this wall with bookshelves, basically, that just had like all kinds of junk on it. Like, and clearly like stuff that like had been discarded from people's homes or whatever, like on the fucking street. I don't even know where he's collecting all this trash from, but it's just like a bunch of stuff, like including, not limited to, things like electronic can openers, or there was like a giant computer monitor. There were all kinds of like lots of ceramics, lots and lots of mugs and plates and all kinds of things. And then like little tchotchke things and like some glass stuff, and then bigger electronics like a slow cooker. Like it was wild. It was wild. And so then the guy like sets up the room and puts all this stuff on a table in the middle of the room. And the table, I'm using the word lightly, is like 3 full-size tires, well, 6 stacked next to each other, like 3 and 3. And then like just a board across the top of it, like a wooden board across the top of it. Okay. And then on top of that is like all the stuff that he's put in there for us to smash. This is our smashing stuff. And then around the room are just like various baseball bats of like different weights and material, and a crowbar and golf clubs.
Oh my gosh.
It was wild. So they give you like a suit, like this like paper suit thing that you put on.
Yeah, some goggles.
Oh, you wear like sort of like not latex, but like you wear like medical gloves and then like full work gloves on top of it. Then they give you like it's like a hard hat with earphone covers like that like clamp down on your ears, that has like a full face shield. And yeah, and the suit goes all the way up to your neck. So you're like fully covered from flying debris. But yeah, and then he brought us in and he's like, here are the rules of the rage room. You can hit whatever you cannot hit each other. Do not hit each other. You do not hit the doors. If you want to throw things against the wall, make sure it's that wall. And he like pointed to a wall. You can go to town, break it as long as you want. You can just be in here breaking things for as long as you want. Like, okay. Anyway, I was like, could not stop laughing. I thought it was so funny. And like, Cricket is really strong. And she really broke some stuff. And yeah. And then we just like started breaking things. And at first we're like both of us were like very timid. Like she like threw a mug and it didn't even break. It sort of just like bounced on the ground.
Yeah.
And then she took a baseball bat and like kind of hit it lightly and then hit it a little harder. And then she like whacked it. And the whole thing, we were like done in like 30 minutes breaking all this stuff.
Wow.
And we laughed and I was like, does that feel good? She was like, it's kind of fun. I'm like, yeah, I feel the same way. It was kind of fun.
People love breaking things.
I don't know. It was like, I definitely think that if you have boys that are like, that have like aggression, it might be like a great place for them. But I would just put one of them in a room by themselves to do it.
Yeah.
Like I was like nervous. I like kept like sort of going back into a corner because I was like nervous that Cricket was going to accidentally like whack something and it would like hit me, or you know what I mean? And I was nervous that I was going to do that. I obviously was like just trying to like keep her safety was at the forefront of my thought process. It wasn't, you know. But so anyway.
That's so interesting. I think that I wouldn't like it because like I am very stressed out by broken things. Like it's like not even if something's not valuable at all, it just that like stresses me out, which I'm sure probably could be traced back to something that happened in my childhood that I probably could identify, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking of the most broken something incident of my childhood, which is this story for another time.
Were you Peter Brady? Did you break the vase and try to glue it back together?
No, it's going to be one of those stories where like
it's not funny.
It was told in my family for 100 years.
And then you're going to tell it here and I'm going to be like, I'm really sorry, Caissie.
Right. Very quickly, my parents used to always, my mother particularly, was always thrifting things, which actually it was like a lot of junk and it got kind of hoardery and was hard to live in sometimes. But she did often like get things and resell them like at flea markets or whatever. And this is all prior to like, I wish she had lived in the era more where you could sell things online and sell things the way that my son does, like restore things. Anyway, she had bought some kind of like curio cabinet, or she had picked it up off the side of the road or whatever. And it needed to be repaired. This is when I was a toddler, so I hardly remember this, but it was laid down in her bedroom with the glass side up. And as a toddler, I got the idea to walk across the glass door, like to climb up on this thing and walk across the glass door. My mom was asleep in her room. How old were you? I was probably like 2 or maybe 3.
It was so crazy. Yes. Okay.
3, I feel like I feel like I was probably around 2. Anyway, I walked across the glass door, made it most of the way. The glass broke, shattered, fell through. That's fine. It woke up my mom immediately. She picked me up out of the glass, but in doing that, she got a piece of glass in her foot that she couldn't get out. And I guess, again, this is my family. She just put a bandage on it and like let it heal, and then walked around with a piece of glass in her foot for
no, I don't. Yeah, it's not. I don't like this.
Forever
for the rest of her life until it became a part of her. Jesus Christ,
until it became a part of her, and then, or maybe
it got expelled. I feel like I feel like in your feet, like it pushes it like gets pushed out. Do you know what I mean?
It was in her. I know it was in her because, and maybe she didn't know that there was glass in it, or maybe she suspected there was glass in it, whatever. But then years later, she went to the emergency room for foot pain. And I mean, like, I was a tween, I feel like, at this point, because I might have even driven her to the emergency room, like illegal driven her to the emergency room. And they were like, you have some kind of whatever. And they took a piece of glass out of her foot. And the doctor was like, oh, it's a piece of colored glass. And she was like, no, it was clear glass. It's been in there that long. And the doctor was like, okay, go back to whatever weird. Anyway, that's why I don't like breaking things. Let's trace it back to that. That's why I'm not a fan.
I think that's right. I think that's right.
Yeah, that seems, and I owe you a copay, obviously, now for letting me tell that story.
Listen, I think it's good to tell these things.
It's therapy. But I will say that one time, we got, for a wedding present, we got from somebody very generously gave us a cut crystal bowl, quite big, must have been hundreds of dollars, from Tiffany and Company.
I got one of those too. Wait, we talked about this.
Yeah, probably.
We did.
And we were like,
you saw it at my house and you were like, we got one of those too. And it was really expensive.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And immediately, I didn't even want to own it. I was like, it's so generous. I should give it to someone more responsible. We are not the people to own this.
Interesting. But yes, I was more like, what the fuck do I do with this? What is this for? Punch?
Exactly.
What are we putting in it?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Anyway, at one point in Connecticut, it had made it safely from Brooklyn to when we moved to Connecticut. At one point in Connecticut, I was trying to put it safely somewhere, maybe when we were moving into the house. And of course, I was very nervous because I'm not responsible enough to own this very expensive bowl. I dropped it. I dropped the bowl and it smashed on the floor. And all at once, I was like filled with all of that anxiety of breaking something and that feeling that I hate so much. But also the way that bowl shattered was so spectacular that all I could say after was, I'm so glad I saw that. That was actually really cool.
Wait, I know what you mean, like when like tempered glass shatters, because I've seen it on like TV sets and stuff.
Yes.
It's like crazy because it shatters into 1 billion pieces. And they're like they look like diamonds. They're like,
yes.
It's like They're like little chunks. They're chunks.
Yeah, and the crystal broke up into like cubes.
Yeah, they're
like,
cubes.
Like
it's
little
like
ice cubes.
Yes,
Yeah, it was amazing.
Totally know what you're talking about.
It was
That's
wild. And I
really
was like,
cool.
I'm actually glad that, I mean, like, I'm not glad that I broke that expensive thing. And I'm sorry for the person that invested in it as a gift to us and trusted us to have it. But I was glad I saw it. Like, if it was going to get broken, I was glad I saw it break up that way because it was really fascinating and kind of like even more beautiful than maybe it was as a bowl.
You know what I would have done?
What?
Gathered it up and put it in another vase.
That would have been smart.
That would have been cool.
That would have been smart.
Don't you think that would have been cool?
Yeah, you're totally right. I should have done that.
Well, anyway, that was my rage room experience with the Cricks. And it was fun. We both were like, okay, we did that. I just thought it was funny how the guy just kept like saying to us, next time you come back, bring stuff from your home to smash. And I was like, oh, okay.
He just doesn't want to go to Goodwill and dumpster dive for more stuff.
No, I think he was like, I don't know. I think
he's into it.
I think he's just into it. Yeah, I think he was just into it.
Wait, what did you choose to hit things with?
I used like a baseball bat, and then I used a crowbar for some of the things.
Okay.
The crowbar was very heavy, and actually my hand kind of hurt today. And I was like, why does my hand feel weird? And I think it's from holding the crowbar.
Yeah, it's not a very ergonomic tool.
Not ergonomic at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was that. And then that's all I know. I don't know. That was like the big events. Those were the big events. Blue Land. Did you know that laundry detergent pods are wrapped in plastic? Yes.
I mean, it seems.
I know
it seems
obviously
like that's
it's
the
very
deal.
clear.
Yeah,
like the film wrapped around the pod is plastic.
Yeah,
and it's not just like some magic that just disappears. It ends up in our oceans and the rivers, and it's gross. And we're all eating too much plastic, and there's plastic everywhere, and we got to get rid of it. And that's why Blue Land is incredible, because Blue Land is launching a first of its kind fragranced laundry detergent tablet in the scent Spring Bloom. It was available on August 6th. After 2 years.
When I tell you Spring Bloom, it smells so good.
It's so good.
I know everyone's into like the bougie laundry detergents now, and people are always talking about the various fancy scents that they're into. This is the best smelling thing I've smelled in forever.
I agree. It's delicious. It smells so good, but also Blue Land has a commitment to powerful plastic-free efficacy. And I just got to say, it also works. It like cleans my clothing and my kids' clothes. Toughest stains. I'm obsessed with Blue Land. Blue Land, if you guys are not on the Blue Land train yet, please just listen to me. Please do it. It's so much better for you and your house. It's better for like your pets. It's better for your kids. It's better for anyone who's cleaning. Like it is the best. It's the best.
I want to say one more thing to recommend the Blue Land tablets. In my house, I love that my guys are constantly doing laundry. Bless. Everyone always spills liquid laundry detergent everywhere in the laundry room. It's all over the machine. It's gross. I know you know this. I know we can't be the only ones. This little dry tablet goes right in the wash. No mess, never, anywhere. Get your wash clean. It smells fantastic. Boys can do it.
Also, like the tablets come in this little like tin container, and it just all looks very chic. It's just chic.
Yeah. And there's a lot in there.
There's a lot in there. I'm just done with this plastic bullshit. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm done.
We're all eating and drinking a credit card's worth of plastic per week. We have to stop. Like
I can't. That's disgusting. I don't want it. I'm done. I'm done. And I love Blue Land. I love it. I really do. I have all the products. I love the toilet tablets. You've heard us talk about that. But now these new laundry tablets are my vibe. I'm so into it. And I have very sensitive skin, guys. I just want you to know I have to be very careful with laundry detergent because I have had reactions in the past where with like itchy skin from my sheets or the clothes that I've washed. And I have had personally no issues with the Blue Land laundry tablets and
Loyal
the Spring
for life.
Bloom fragrance. It's like citrusy wildflowers. It's so good. There's a special offer for our listeners. Blue Land is giving you 15% off your first order if you go to blueland.com/best. You don't want to miss it. blueland.com/best for 15% off. That's blueland.com/best to get 15% off. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Thanks, BetterHelp.
Thank you, BetterHelp. Guys, it is back to school. And one thing that I said to Cricket, I was like, are you excited to go back to school? And she said no. And I said, why? Learning things is the best. And as a grown-up, sometimes we don't really have the time or the space to learn new things. And that's where I think sometimes therapy can be incredible because therapy can help you learn to look at things in a new way, can help you to reconnect with your sense of wonder, can help you identify things that you might want to learn. Maybe you're like not even in touch with something that you want to learn because you're so overwhelmed with all the things that you have to do that you can't find space in your brain.
Right.
But listen, that's where BetterHelp comes in to play because BetterHelp is designed to be convenient and flexible and suited to your schedule, no matter how busy you are. It's entirely online. And there are so many things you can learn from BetterHelp, from getting some therapy, positive coping skills, how to set boundaries. Listen, therapy is for everyone. That's what I would say.
Therapy is for everyone. And I think sometimes just the act of acknowledging that you're doing something for yourself and it's going to be a regular thing already gets you so much further toward who you want to be than you were before you decided that.
100%. And a lot of us, I know, like we put everyone before ourselves, like everyone else's like needs and like, well, I got to find this class for this kid and I got to do this thing for this person and whatever. Like therapy is a thing that you should not put off for yourself. You just never know when it's going to come in handy, even if you're not in the middle of a crisis in this moment. It's good to just have those skills. It helps with work. It helps with your kids. It helps with your relationships.
It helps with all of those things. It helps you be your best self so that you're ready should a crisis arise.
Yeah. So here's how it works. You can fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Again, it's like on your schedule. They make it so easy for you. It's just designed to be there in support of you. So rediscover your own curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/busy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/busy. And I got the Kim Kardashian nipple bra. And Kim K reposted me yesterday, which was hilarious.
That's hilarious.
It is, actually.
So you're like, it gives you like the look of like the Batman costume when the Batman costume has nipples.
Okay. Guys, if you don't know what the nipple bra is, you can just Google Skims nipple bra. But basically, it is a push-up bra that also has very hard nipples, both nipples, very hard. And I told the story on my Instagram stories, but basically I think I had heard of it last year, whenever it came out. I don't know when it first came out, but I never really thought about it. And then Birdie was sick of kids at school giving her shit for never wearing a bra. You know, she's got sensory stuff. She doesn't like bras. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
Bras suck. And if you're blessed in the way that like you don't need to wear a bra, good for you. You know what I mean? Enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I guess there had been some discussion that from kids about how she never wears a bra and like sometimes you could see her nipples and whatever. And she's just like, ew, gross. Like, that's not my fucking problem. Like, maybe don't look at my boobs that way then, you know?
Right.
But she's so funny and such like, so my daughter that she bought the nipple bra so that she could wear it and be like, see, I'm wearing a bra. Like, just to be kind of like a troll. I think it's kind of iconic and really funny. But so she got it and I saw it and I was like, wait, it kind of looks great. Should I get one? And then I ordered one just to see. And let me tell you something. I wore it yesterday. It's the best. I'm obsessed with it. It like kind of just like made me feel like so hot. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like gave me like a whole new, first of all, it made my boobs like 2 sizes bigger, which is not a thing that I ever think I really want. But then I was like, ooh, this is nice. And then the like hard nipples were so funny. It was Michelle's birthday, so I went to see her. She had to go to like some fashion show and she had the kids and she just is like got a lot of stuff going on. But I went over to her house to see her and she was like feeling the bra and she's like, this feels so good. She's like, I want one. I'm like, I know it does. It weirdly feels really good. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm a fan.
It's like, it doesn't surprise me because you're a big fan of Friends. And
exactly.
We
That's
all
what
know
I felt like Rachel.
The 6th friend was Rachel's nipples.
How
the
did
7th friend.
How did she do that? I can't do it unless it's a Skims bra. I don't know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of ice cubes. I feel like. I'm sure she must have talked about it at some point.
But like both of them at the same time, always.
Her nipples were always guest starring on every episode of Friends.
I don't know if she talked about it because like, let's be real. Like we don't, we're not supposed to be like talking about people's bodies. Is all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But back then.
Oh, back then like for sure. Yeah, you're right.
People were, yeah. And also like it's clearly a choice because there are many ways to cover nipples. So if you're choosing not to cover them, then it's a choice, It's
empowered. I think it's empowered.
Sure. Jennifer Aniston actually talked about how her nipples kept popping up on Friends. She finally answered the question asked by Vogue about it in August 2017. She explained there was no real rhyme or reason to it, but she is proud of the way her boobs are. I don't know what to say about that. It's just one of those things, I guess. I wear a bra. I don't know what to tell you. And I don't know why I'm supposed to be ashamed of them. As you said, it's just the way my breasts are. But I'm not going to complain. All right. There you go. She just has very powerful nipples.
Listen, I love it.
She's a powerful woman.
She is. She is. That hair, the nipples.
Her hair, the voice, everything. She's Jenny Annie.
She's Jenny Annie and we love her. I don't know. Do with this information what you want. I don't know. I love the bra. I think it's great. I'm into it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it looked great.
We're not being paid to endorse this nipple bra.
100%. I didn't even get it for free. I didn't. I paid for it. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting any kind of kickback from my friend Kim K.
Oh my goodness. I think that's fun. I feel like the nipple bra probably doesn't come in my bra size. I don't know. I didn't look. But
I don't know. She's like fairly size inclusive.
I'll have to check it out.
See how big their bras go up to. Also, they should be like, I hope we don't have a bra advertiser this week because I'm just doing an advertisement for somebody else. And that's not great, guys. We're not.
Well,
it's not
you
great.
can wear many types of bras.
Well,
And this
you know
is
I do.
not for an everyday bra. This is a special occasion bra when you want nipples.
Oh, well, I accidentally just went into loungewear on Skims and it goes, Skims, and it goes up to a 4XP.
Yes, I know they are pretty size inclusive on some things. Bras are a little more challenging.
Oh, wait, P is petite. 4XP is petite, and then a 5X. It goes up to a 5X in non-petite. And let's look at their t-shirt bras. Where's the nipple? Where's my nipple bra?
Yes, I'm seeing the nipple, but I'm on the nipple bra. I mean, I'm going to say that I'm a little outside of the sizes that they have available. My band size is available, but my cup size is they're not quite there yet. But maybe one day. Maybe one day. But also, like, when you have gigantic boobs, I don't know that you need a bra that makes them look 2 sizes bigger with nipples on them either.
I don't know that you don't. It's a push-up bra.
Push-up I love. Yeah. I think that sounds fun. And it also sounds like something it'd be fun to pick what occasions you're going to wear it on.
I think that's the key. Like, I'm not wearing it today. You know what I mean? I was like, that's not what's happening. But
it's not a podcasting bra.
Not for me. Not for me. But might be for somebody, depending, I guess, on what the podcast is.
It really depends. I bet there's a lot of podcasts where that would be the perfect bra to do it in.
Yeah. I have to say, I do feel like, I mean, the debate is tonight. Like, I don't know what you're feeling about this. I'm like...
Right. It's already going to have happened by the time you guys are hearing this. I mean, I'm always nervous.
Yeah.
But, you know, because you don't know what's going to happen with that guy. You know?
Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm like, also, I've been trying to figure out what the disconnect with the Taylor Swift not endorsing Kamala or saying anything, even just like register to vote. I don't know. I'm confused by that. And then I was like, well, maybe they're asking her to wait. Someone's asking. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm feeling nervous.
Maybe she's not going to do it. You know? I mean, that is, you know, I feel like, here's what I'm most nervous about. I'm nervous about what Donald Trump's going to do at the debate. And then I'm nervous about the way the media will address it, because the media, to me, and not to sound like a conspiracy theorist that I would have rolled my eyes at 15, 20 years ago, but I just feel like the media clearly has an agenda. And I think like a lot of the media is conservative owned billionaires,
100%.
obviously. And then I think that even media that maybe, you know, maybe if you got right down to it, maybe like personally individual members are liberal in their heart of hearts. I feel like it's in their interest to make it a risky, scary horse race the entire time, because
they want you to tune in.
If it was like a runaway landslide in the making that anyone could see with their own 2 eyes, that's not a good media story. And it doesn't sell papers. It doesn't get ratings. It doesn't get clicks. And so they can't allow that to be. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm not saying that's where we are in this election. I'm just saying I question the framing of a lot of information that we're receiving. And it makes me just feel like, you know, this is not a healthy place for me to exist for the next 50-something days.
Right.
So I just keep going back to like what our friend Charlotte Clymer was like, we have to vote and get out there like we're 10 points down, you know?
Yeah. I think
And
that's right.
that being said, like, you know, we have to enthusiastically vote like we're 10 points down, not demoralized vote like we're 10, you know, we have to vote like we're 10 points down and bring 10 people with us, you know, to vote. So that's where I would love if Taylor Swift came out and said something, because, you know, I saw a lot of people talking about Miss Americana and like the message of that and how, you know, how it really gave people so much hope and, you know,
Yes.
and how the absence of that message
Yes.
is disappointing for some people
Yes.
here. I mean, she doesn't owe anyone anything, I guess, in a way. But yeah, I get why people are like, why is she not saying something? But she's not required to.
No, I always feel that way. Like, I always feel like no one's required to say or do anything. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm also like, what's happening? You know, is it?
I think it would be so great. Here's what I think.
I think it would be great.
Taylor Swift doesn't owe anyone anything other than her music and her performance that they pay her for. It would be great if she said something, and I'll tell you why. Because it would be great for the people that Taylor Swift exists as a celebrity because of. It would be better for them. If she could encourage her fans to vote, I believe in my heart that it would protect her fans and enable them to keep enjoying her in the style in which they have made her very rich and very famous. And she's a person that talks a lot about how much she loves her audience. And I think that's true. Like, we saw how moved and upset she's been about things that have happened to people. We saw the way that she handled the potential terrorist attack at one of her shows. So, you know, so she has a very big heart, I know. And so I believe that that big-heartedness, like, it'd be great if it extended to encouraging this huge voting bloc, potentially huge voting bloc, to do what they've got to do to protect themselves and stay good, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I think it would be great. But it's ultimately up to her. And maybe she will say something, but I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know.
We don't know.
I do not know. And also, she'll be good no matter what. She's rich and famous. She's protected. So this is
100%,
what,
yes. Well, that's the thing.
if anyone's looking to Taylor Swift for some kind of cue of what they should do,
Yeah.
I get it. Like, she's amazing. She's an artist and we love her. That being said, her life is very different than your life, and she can only know so much about your life. And so it's your responsibility to do what you have to do if you're voting age, to protect yourself and to protect the people in your family and to protect people like you. And maybe we can't wait. You know, it's just like the DNC. Everybody was waiting on Beyonce to come out, but it was a success without Beyonce.
Yes, 100%.
It was a success without Beyonce. And like, we can't wait on Beyonce. We can't wait on her word about what to do about things.
Right.
Like, would it be great? Yes. And Beyonce, I think we know where she stands. But that's the thing about looking up to people who, you know, are just these like mega stars, is like, as much as they love you and they're grateful for what you've poured into them, they don't know you as a person. And it's been a long time since they've lived a life like your life. Only you know your life. And by the way, like, I've been like addicted to TikTok. That's a whole other conversation we should talk about or not, but I'm sure I'm not different than anyone else. But there's a lot of people that I'm getting served on TikTok who don't even seem to know their own lives. People talking about like taxes and things that they're worried they're going to be responsible and on the hook for. And I get it, because all those things are like it's very easy to talk about fears and it's harder to talk about facts. And sometimes politicians don't make it easy to talk about facts, especially when we have people that are just like lying, like straight up lying about what's true and what's not. And so I've been on TikTok and I've just seen so many people that are like, Kamala's going to tax like all my capital gains. And I'm like, honey, do you even have any capital gains? Like, I don't have capital gains. Like, what are you like, I feel like for myself and for people and for young people and everyone, like, it's time for us to kind of grow up and take responsibility for knowing the shit that we need to know to exist in our society, and not wait on like our favorite singer to tell us like, yeah, it's okay, you can go ahead and vote for this person because I like her. Like, truth be told, like, Taylor Swift is one of the people that stands to become more heavily taxed under Kamala Harris. If she marries Travis Kelce more than ever. Like, they're very, very rich people. They live a very, very different life than you or I. Anyway, I talked too long about it, but that's kind of how I just am like, maybe she won't. I don't know why, but maybe she won't.
She might not. She might not. We're just going to have to deal with that.
Yeah. Maybe she will, though.
Maybe she will.
Maybe she will. But I don't want to get into a situation where like that somehow like reduces the impact of what this campaign has been out here doing.
Right. I hear that.
And they've just been working really hard in a really short time to get everyone on the same page and to fight this wild narrative in the media that Donald Trump is somehow sane and like
and a viable candidate.
Yeah. And that her hugging a little girl in Penzeys Spices, shout out Penzeys Spices since we're shouting out great businesses, how her hugging a little girl in Penzeys Spices is like, it's whipping around the internet with those people saying it's AI. And I'm like, there's multiple videos of this little girl coming up and asking for a hug. Like, it's not even...
God, people are so fucking wild.
People are so wild. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe we won't get the Taylor endorsement, but we got the Spice Guy endorsement. And I love a Spice Guy as much as I love a Spice Girl.
Damn.
Penzeys Spices rules. So, I don't know. How do you feel? Like, you're a bigger Taylor fan than I am. Like, you know her stardom better than I do.
No, I think all the things you said are correct. Like, fan culture to me is wild, but it is real. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of power that she wields with that. And I really thought that moment in Miss Americana was very powerful.
Yeah.
And she obviously was able to say something in 2020. And I guess I'm just a little bit like, what you waiting for now? Because it felt like she had a real revelatory moment in terms of how important it was for her to support the people that support her fans. And I don't know, I just, it's weird. Like, people ask me all the time in interviews and things like, you've been so outspoken about, do you get annoyed at other celebrities. And I'm always like, my situation is unique. It's my own situation. Like the way that I make money, the fans that love me, the jobs that I even am up for, like sometimes I really understand when actors or performers are kind of hesitant because, I mean, you see, obviously, like, we all should just go back and watch Shut Up and Sing again. Like, yeah. I think the Dixie Chicks really faced that blowback from their fan base in such an intense way. There are a few cases, and it's like so interesting because it's like people talk about fucking cancel culture, but I've never actually seen cancel culture be more vicious than to women who have been outspoken politically. Like
100%.
The men can like, Louis C.K. can fucking do whatever the fuck he wants and still sell out MSG, right? And complain about cancel culture. Like, what are you, sir? Shut the fuck up. But like Kathy Griffin, like clawing her fucking, having to like beg and plead and Kathy Griffin did fucking nothing. I mean, like, what? Like, what?
Right. That's exactly the example that I was gonna give.
No,
exactly.
I know. But it's true. And like the Dixie Chicks, I mean, look at like what they faced. Like they were vilified, and like
by not just their fans, but like the business was complicit in it too.
Yeah, totally.
Like
100%.
Like totally made hay of the situation.
So it's interesting when people talk about cancel culture because I'm like, show me where Dave Chappelle has been canceled. Show me where Louis C.K. has been canceled. Show me where Kevin Spacey, who's still fucking getting jobs, has been canceled. But like, let's look at the, receipts for women who've been outspoken, politically, because those ladies have been taken the fuck down. And like, for me personally, I do think that, I don't know. I think that like, I really have trusted in my ability to continue to like generate work in spite of the fact that it might piss people off and like be creative and do other ways, like come up with other ways to make money if it somehow has a negative impact on my career. And I've tried to be like, I run things by other people like you or other people in my life. But all of this to say, every person's like situation is unique in terms of like what makes sense for them career-wise and personally to speak out. It does feel a bit like after the Miss Americana, watching that and then her coming out in 2020 to back Joe Biden, like it feels a little, I personally am just like, well, girl, just say it. Just fucking repost a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even have to be like, but now it feels like it's kind of blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know.
I'm probably just repeating what I already said before, but I just feel like she doesn't owe anyone anything other than what they paid her for, and she stands to lose either way what she chooses to do. She stands to lose something. I don't mean like lose. Like, she's not going to get canceled. But I mean, some people are going to be mad either way with what she does. But I would personally prefer to be on what I felt was the right side of history and have people be mad at me for that. Because here's the thing. Should Donald Trump somehow win this election, she's going to release another album. She's going to go on another tour, and she's going to be touring in states and singing to young women about empowerment and about love in places where having sex one time could be a life-changing consequence,
I mean, it already
life-altering.
is. It already is.
Right.
In 14 states. And then 40 other ones that have restrictive bans in place.
Right. And so, like, by the nature of the kind of art that she does and who she is as an artist, obviously, I just feel like it would be for the best. Like, I think that would be fucking wild to be in one of these states talking about being an empowered girl and being in love and being carefree and, you know, whatever else. And also singing a lot of songs about the wrong that's been done to you, because she, you know, that's very much part of who she is. When you'll be singing to a bunch of women who have had so much wrong done to them by one guy that'll never meet them and never give a shit about them. And so it's just a weird place to be in. But, you know, but I also think it's kind of on us to not wait on her word.
Well, I don't think any of us are. I'm just going to.
I hope not. I hope not.
Look, I don't think we are.
Yeah.
However, I think that there are like, I bet there are kids. By the way, I bet there are girls that are turning 18 before the election that don't know that you can register now. If you are 18 before November 5th, like you can register to vote now and you can vote in the election.
And Taylor Swift has done amazing work in getting people to register to vote. I know that is true. So I want to give her props for that. Yeah, that's probably true. People are turning. Yeah. When do you have to turn 18 by like election day, right?
Yes, by election day, you can vote.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like I know kids who were like pre-registering to vote, to be ready to vote on election day. I don't know how many 17-year-olds are listening to this podcast, but if you're going to be...
Well, maybe you're the mother of a 17-year-old and you didn't know that.
And just check your registration, check your voter registration.
Everybody should check it, by the way.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure we are preaching to the choir.
That's what I feel
here.
like. But it's like always a nice reminder.
It's always a nice reminder. And also, like, talk about props to people, props to our listeners, because these folks have been out there volunteering, phone banking, registering people to vote. They have biz over on Facebook. They have like a whole back channel where they all just talk about like how they're volunteering, what they're doing, and giving each other information of like things that can be done, guiding each other. You guys are fucking amazing and like just crushing it. We might not be Taylor Swift individually, but together
we're still not anywhere close, but we do love it and appreciate it. Let's be real.
And it works, you know? It works. I've seen so many things from so many people who have been out canvassing and talked to a woman who was like, I'm not going to vote because I'm just like, I feel underwater and I feel like, what's the use? And then somebody will just talk to them for 5 minutes about, well, here's what the use actually is. And like, what can I do to help? I can see that you have your hands full. Is there a way that I can help you?
Yeah.
Get registered.
Right. Or like make sure or get you an absentee or a mail-in ballot or an absentee ballot. You know what I mean?
Or get you a ride to the polls. Like what can I do? What can I do? And so those are really big. Every single act that someone does like that, it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal. And that's where I think we have the advantage, is because we care about each other. That is, you know, that's the whole reason we are where we are on the political spectrum, is because we care about each other and we want to take care of each other. And so every time you're offering to help someone figure out how they can be taken care of, that's a really big deal.
It is. I am like I'm definitely very into the message that I feel like Kamala's been leaning into, which is like everyone is sick of just this divisiveness and like really mean. And I think the majority of Americans are, even people who maybe, I don't know, identified as Republicans previously. I think that people are just like, ugh, can everybody stop being so mean?
Dick Cheney's sick of it.
I mean, if Dick
the
Cheney's
man that famously known as Darth Vader.
I mean, literally.
The man people said had no heart. The man who shot his friend in the face.
Like, that's wild. That was a mistake. That was a mistake, though, right? Wasn't it? The shooting the man in the face.
It was a mistake, but I think like it was kind of minimized, and I'm not sure he apologized for it. I don't know. I'm not a member of the Cheney household. Even he's sick of it. Why? Probably because they came for his daughter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So whatever heart he has. And like, listen, I don't trust these people as far as I can throw them. But that being said, like, it's even Dick Cheney is sick of it. So like, if Dick Cheney's had enough, maybe your pop-pops had enough. Maybe your favorite aunt who you've been avoiding talking to because it always turns into a shit show. Maybe she's had enough.
Yeah.
Because Donald Trump isn't getting any less cuckoo bananas. He's still talking about Hannibal Lecter. No one can figure out why he's talking about Hannibal Lecter constantly. We figured out Asylum.
Weird.
We figured out why he didn't know the difference between political asylum and mental health asylum.
Oh my God.
And so he thinks that immigrants are coming from insane asylums, which we don't even have anymore, but because the word asylum was like mentioned to him at some point, and so he doesn't know about homonyms. But yeah, he's not getting any more sensible. He's not getting any less feeble. He's, so yeah, maybe it's time for us to ask people in our lives, like, aren't you sick of it? Aren't you sick of having a pit in your stomach, and I mean, listen, I don't think everyone's going to be like, yeah, I'm sick of it. I think some people love it. They thrive on it. They live for the drama.
Totally.
Some people are just going to believe shit that's not real. But some people are sick of it.
I think a lot of people are sick of it. I know I am.
You know what we're not sick of?
Connie Britton.
Our guest today, Connie Britton. I mean, we interviewed Connie Britton a few days ago. I feel like it was one of the times where I just had a look on my face, like this, like look of love. I love her so much.
You were like a little bit like had a goofy grin on your face the entire time. I'm not in a way that I'm like totally not. I'm not making fun of you. You like literally just had like stars in your eyes. It was really cute.
I just love her. I've only ever gotten to speak to her like a couple times when she's been on shows. You're friends with her. You guys are old friends.
Yes, for a long time.
And you've known her for a really long time, and you've done tons of things together. She was a guest on Busy Tonight, so I talked to her there. I also talked to her like at an upfronts one time. I think for Busy Tonight when
I remember that. No, you guys were like sitting in the. I actually definitely remember that.
So, and I just love her so much, and she's always so kind and such like a lovely, regular girl.
Yeah, she's a lovely person. She is like everything that you want Connie Britton to be. She is like just in real life. I've known her for many years. Many years ago. I met her through Lauren Graham. She and Lauren have been friends like as actresses since
Also,
the beginning of time.
another great one.
Another great
Wait,
one.
were they roommates?
I think they were roommates.
Lauren
yeah.
and Connie?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Connie Britton's
And-
been everyone's roommate, I feel like.
And then I did a couple episodes of my friend's TV show I was probably like 22, 23 years old. It was called Life as We Know It. And she played the mom on the show, or one of the moms. And it filmed in Vancouver. And she and I like flew back on the same flight, and we were seated next to each other for one of the times I was up there doing my like guest star part. And we just had like the greatest, I just remember having this like 2.5 hour like master class of being human with Connie Britton, like when I was like 23 years old, you know? That was the start of our friendship. And she's just the best. And we talked to her, and she's got 2 movies coming out this Friday, the 13th. And guys, get into it. Let's listen. Well, it's back to school for everybody. It is. And you know what that means.
Yeah. Diets are going out the window. Like, we're just eating whatever we can, whenever we can. Fruits and veggies be damned.
And that's why for my kids, I'm like, you got to take a vitamin every day, guys. You got to take a vitamin. And I learned the hard way. You know the story, guys, that children's vitamins basically just candy in disguise. I learned this by giving one of my children gummy vitamins every day on her way to preschool, and then discovering that she had 9 cavities. And the dentist being like, yeah, that's just vitamins. Do you feed her vitamins? And I'm like, I do. And that's why Hiya was created. Hiya is a pediatrician approved, super powered, chewable vitamin for kids. Honestly, I get into the Hiyas. I'm not even going to lie. I take the Hiyas. I do. I like them. Most children's vitamins are filled with 5 grams of sugar and can obviously contribute to a variety of health issues, which is like the opposite of what you're trying to do when you're giving your children vitamins. Right. Hiya is made with 0 sugar, 0 gummy junk. It tastes great. It's perfect for picky eaters. It was formulated with the help of nutritional experts. Hiya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, and then it's supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamins D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many, many others. And it helps support immunity and energy and brain function and mood and concentration and teeth and bones and more.
All things you need at school.
All things you need at school. It's non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, everything else you can imagine. It's just, they're kind of the best children's vitamin out there. That's just the truth. Plus, it's sent straight to your door, so you don't even have to worry about getting it. And they give you like a refillable bottle that your kids can decorate with little stickers. And then that feels good because you're like not contributing to more waste in the world. It's all good.
Right.
Guys,
they have some ownership of it, and they can develop a healthy habit that they can manage themselves. It's great.
Exactly. It is great. Well, we have worked out a special deal with our friends at Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you got to go to hiyahealth.com/busy. This deal, not available on their regular website. Go to hiyahealth.com/busy and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Guys, one of our favorites of all time is wild grain. Caissie and I are obsessed with it. We love it so much.
I dream about it. I dream about it.
I do.
There's nothing better than having a wild grain croissant dream and then waking up and making wild grain croissants.
Well, because here's the thing. Wild grain, if you don't know, it's the first ever Bake from Frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, fresh pastas, artisanal pastries, and yes, croissants. And every item bakes from frozen in 25 minutes or less. There's no thawing required, so you don't have to think ahead, which is great for me since I rarely think ahead. And the wild grain boxes are fully customizable. So you can like decide how many bread, like what bread you want. If you want just all pastas, which I've done before. If you want just all sweet, delicious,
all cookies,
sweet pastries, whatever. They also just launched a new plant-based box, which
so exciting.
Features a wide selection of plant-based pastries, breads, and hand-cut pastas. We got to get Emily Beebe on that.
We do.
That's amazing for our little vegan friends. I love this for you guys. Plant-based box.
And Emily Beebe's always hosting like a little dinner party or whatever. So we need to get her a wild grain box so that she can host a wild grain themed dinner party.
Can I be honest why I love wild grain the most?
Why?
Because I'm going to be real. I don't eat that much bread, okay? I just don't. We just don't in our house eat that much bread.
Same.
But when I want bread, I fucking want it. I want it then.
I want it to be good.
And I want it to be good. Chances are if I've purchased bread at a market or a store, by the time I'm like come around and I'm like, ooh, I think I'd like to make a sandwich today, or I'd like to like have bread with this soup or whatever.
Right.
It's like moldy.
Moldy,
you know what I mean?
stale. And also wasn't that good to begin with.
It didn't taste that great. And with wild grain, I'm like, ooh, I want bread today. I pull out one of these like little rolls or the loaves or the croissant. I put it in I have like a toaster oven. I put it in there like 15 minutes, generally speaking. It's like always like 15, 20 minutes. And I've got fresh, delicious, hot bread.
The smell of a loaf of wild grain can wake up my sons. Like nothing can wake them up, but nothing gets them up on a weekend like they smelled bread and they know it's going to be on the counter in 10 minutes. And then suddenly they're up and just eating bread. It's a nice feeling.
It is. It's actually just, I feel also it's like helped me with food waste. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I do feel like I would end up throwing away like half loaves of bread or like full loaves of bread previously.
Yeah, because it's not that appealing and it's sitting around and waiting for its moment, and the moment never arises because you're not that into it.
No, I'm not that into it, but I am so into wild grain and I love it so much. And guys, I want you to get into it and you to love it so much. So for a limited time, you can get $30 off your first box plus free croissants in every box. Delicious. When you go to wildgrain.com/busy to start your subscription, you heard me, free croissants in every box. And $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/busy. That's wildgrain.com/busy, or you can use promo code busy at the checkout.
Girl, hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Look at you. You're beautiful.
Oh my God, you look cute. You look so cute. Wait, is that
Hi, Connie. I'm Caissie.
Oh, hi.
I was the producer of the late night show that you were a wonderful guest on. But anyway, hi.
Hi. Oh my God, that was such a fun show.
It was so fun.
Nice to see you. Thanks for doing this.
I still have my nightgown.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Only special people got them, Connie. You know that?
Real? Nuh-uh, liar. Everybody got them.
No,
they're
because they wouldn't. Because the company was like, they're kind of expensive, so we had to like get permission. Like basically, they would only send them for certain people.
Really? Oh my gosh. Well,
Yes.
now I cherish it even more, but I still cherish it and I wear it all the time, and I always think of you.
Oh, I love that you have a Mr. Nightgown in your repertoire.
I do.
Hi, are you in the middle of crazy press?
Yeah, well, really just today, we're kind of just like knocking it out. So, but I was like, when I saw you in the middle of the schedule, I'm like, what?
Oh, I know. It is fun.
Are you in New York?
And we know I'm in New York.
Amazing.
And Caissie's in LA.
I'm in LA. We're doing it bi-coastally.
That's how we roll.
Making it work.
We do make it work.
That's the thing. That's the beauty of, this situation.
Yeah,
it is.
Well,
It is
100%. Nice. And I feel like this is going to be a terrible interview on my part because I'm just sitting here smiling so far. I'm just like, it's Connie Britton.
I'm so happy to be with you guys. You have no idea. I'm so excited.
I know. Well, we have to talk. You have 2 movies that are coming out on the same day, which is very exciting. I would say. I would think. I've never had that happen.
Me neither. It's crazy.
Really?
How'd you do it? How'd you work it?
What?
How'd you do it?
I don't know. I didn't do anything. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It's not me. We didn't even shoot. We shot the movies so different. One movie shot in Italy, the other shot in Winnipeg. Whoa.
Oh God.
Whoa.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know. And then it just, what is the quinky dinky of that?
Well, I mean,
well, the two movies are really interesting too, because the first one is Hereafter, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a scary
movie. I think people think Connie Britton, they might not associate you with scariness right away, but of course, I loved you in American Horror Story.
Right. I did do that.
So, yeah. And this was a really interesting movie because it was shot in Italy. It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
But everybody else is speaking Italian.
I was basically the director, Bob, and myself were pretty much the only Americans in the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Which I didn't realize. I was like, oh boy. And it actually kind of helped the movie because, my character she creates a really isolated life for herself, and she's an American in Italy. So it did kind of create this vibe. And I mean, also we got to shoot in Rome. So how about
that? I know the locations are it's so beautiful to look at. And did you speak Italian before?
No.
Do you speak Italian?
No, I did not speak Italian before. I love Italy. And so I'm always like bragging that I can say all the words in a really great dialect because I can hear the dialect. And so I sound but meanwhile, I don't know what one word means. I feel like manja because I love to eat. But I had to learn just lines, I had to learn
phonetically. Do you even learn it phonetically, or did you work with a coach?
I worked with a coach, and I had to just put it in my brain because there was no other way to learn it. And I'm telling you, the older I get, the harder it is to learn things by rote. You know what I mean? Sure. It's if you don't have an understanding of it, and it just has to be literally a sound in your brain. It was ridiculous.
But by the way, Connie, that's actually super interesting because I don't know. I mean, literally don't even know if I ever do that in acting. Do you know what I mean? I always am thinking of the logical.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know what you're saying as an actor. Yes. And also, and you're kind of an improviser too. You're in the moment in your thing, and you're actually the words aren't just words. They're thoughts and actions and all this stuff. So for the Italian, it was just kind of I have to just say these words, and I have to say them with the right intonation, but I don't actually know what I'm saying. I'm trying to remember what I'm saying, but I can't really remember exactly. I know generally what I'm saying. Anyway, it was crazy.
Right. And you also had to use sign language.
I know.
So you learned two languages, kind of.
Yeah, but I did not learn a lot of sign language. I cannot. Freya, who plays my daughter, really learned sign language. She did an amazing job with that. Again, for me, the sign language was kind of like the Italian. It's I learned what I had to learn. Right. But it would be cool to actually really learn sign language.
That would be cool.
Very cool.
My sister took it in college. Learn a little bit.
That was the thing that I feel like is happening in school now. Wait, what did you say? Is Birdie learning?
I said my sister took it in college.
Oh, yeah.
That was her language that she took in college. So she she has enough so that she can kind of get by in sign language. I think it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. That is cool.
It's very cool.
I feel like CPR and American Sign Language would be two useful things that we could learn maybe in middle school.
They should just be part of curriculums, I think.
Yeah. Okay, and so then that movie is so great. It's so beautiful. It's just scary enough for me. It really got me into the spirit of the upcoming Halloween holiday.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess we're talking about Halloween. Okay.
I am.
I guess we have to.
There was a lot of beautiful things about the movie. That's what I wanted to say. So for anyone who's a scary movie fan, it is scary. It does have some nice scares, but it has a lot of really beautiful moments.
Yeah, I know. Because that's, as you were saying, it's not necessarily my genre, even though I've done it. it's not like my go-to, like, oh, I want to make a psychological thriller or whatever. But the psychological aspect, I'm into that. Like, so this one, I was kind of like, oh, this is really, I'm really moved by this. And like, as a mom, like, I'm into like kind of exploring, like, what would that be like? Like what, and then the idea of, sort of like exploring the supernatural is the only way toward redemption and like mom guilt. I mean, come on.
Right.
It's like the whole movie is about mom guilt and like how we
Right.
try to push that down and how you can't get away from it and how it destroys everything. You know what I mean? And also I'm like very into that because I'm like, guilt is a terrible thing. We should not feel guilty as parents. We should not feel guilty as mothers, but it's so hard not to. Anyway, so
I know. What are your wait, after we need to we're going to circle back to mom guilt.
Right. No, I know. I had a feeling, Busy, that would be resonant. But yeah, like, and the thing is, how I love that the movie is basically about like how completely destructive that can be. But we get to see it in this kind of like cool sort of supernatural thriller, otherworldly way, which I think is really that I think I love the use of the genre in that way, in the medical.
Yeah, it was really smart.
Okay, wait. So let's circle back to mom guilt because I do think a lot of our friends listening are going to be like, "Yes,
agree,
preach it."
Agree.
What do you do, Connie? How do you help yourself out a little bit?
I don't know. I was just listening. Oh my gosh, what is this book called? Jane Fonda just sent me these amazing books. Hold on, I have to wait. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Yes, sure. Get it. This is literally my life, my brain, my life right now. I'm just like
going to get a book. I'm
just like, what is it? I don't know. Let me go look it up.
I can't remember the title of any book.
Dan Siegel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know Dan Siegel? And he's written these amazing books on a lot of different things, but on adolescence. And I was listening to this one and it starts and it's basically all about, just showing up. I think it's called Just Show Up or something. But it's basically about like we as parents, we're constantly like, I'm doing it wrong. I'm ruining them. I'm screwing it up. I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I do? And the whole premise of this thing is just show up. That actually all the things that we think we need to be doing, we don't have to be doing. We can just show up. And if we give them that sense of secure attachment, that will guide them. We can't know all the answers. Anyway,
right.
So I was literally just listening to that like 2 days ago in a moment of like, what do I do? I'm blowing it. Guilt. I'm blowing it. I'm screwing him up. And I've really thought about that nonstop ever since, because I was just like, right. Like the guilt doesn't benefit any of us. It doesn't.
No,
right?
It doesn't. I had a really interesting thing that just happened. I'm dating this guy who doesn't have kids. And he said something to me the other day. I'm so fucking hard on myself as a parent. So hard on myself. And Birdie, is now 16.
Oh my God.
And she's at boarding school. And I was like telling him about a thing that she called and told me about, a situation. And he's like, do you know what I think is really cool? He's like, every time I hear other people talk about their kids, they're like, oh, my kid did this and accomplished that and like got a ribbon or whatever. And he's like, the stories you tell about her are like, she was faced with this dilemma with friends and she did this thing in this way. And I'm so proud of her for that. And he's like, you really value her character when she is able to be a fully realized person. And he's like, I think that's really amazing and such good parenting. And I was like, oh, you're right. Like that is actually, because to me, I'm like, you know what I mean? Right?
Yes, 1,000%. I know. But it's
but I never think of those things as being like,
valuable.
Oh, Mark and I did a good job with this kid.
Right.
Like she's making good choices and handling these tough situations in a really mature, great way. Instead, I like focus on all the other things and I don't,
Right. Because it's, because we think we have more control than we do, or we think we're supposed to have more control than we do. So like, I love that story because it's like every little bit where we can just let it be like, oh, we have given them enough nurture so they can start to make choices. They can start to know themselves enough to make good choices. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that's the gift. That's what,
Because you're like in the preteen years, right?
Yeah.
You're almost there.
no, Yobi's 13 now.
Oh my God.
I know.
13. What's your biggest source of mom guilt? Like, what's the thing that most recently you were like, oh,
Probably, you know, I mean, Yobi's adopted, and I think it's sort of like I wish that I could like kind of fill in all the blanks for him. And I feel and I know that there's a lot of blanks for him that are going to become like more burdensome, and I wish that I could fill that in better for him. And sometimes I feel like I should be able to somehow, or there must be a way. Like I'm not learning enough about, so it's that like it's like wanting to be able to somehow feeling like I'm supposed to be able to help him figure that out.
Right. Like you're falling short.
They're blanks
but
for
you're
me
not.
too, by the way.
Right.
Right. I was going to say. And I think that, well, I mean, you did not ask me, Connie Britton. My kids are grown. I feel like my kids are not adopted, but I feel like they had blanks too that I couldn't fill in just because of like the nature of families and the mysteriousness of life. Like there's just certain things that I could never tell them that I never knew. But I guess for me, like the main thing that I did to cope, and like psychologists and psychiatrists, please write in to tell me if this was the wrong thing to do, because we're talking about messing our kids up. But I always felt like I just was truthful with them about like what I felt guilty about. Like, I wish I could fill in these blanks for you. That's like, it hurts my heart that I can't tell you the answer to this question.
Yeah.
And then put it on them,
I know, but you know what? That's actually super helpful, because I do think it really always boils down to like, just be as honest as you can with them. Sometimes I feel like that's even hard to do, because it's like,
I agree.
Sometimes I feel like, well, I'm not being totally straightforward or honest because I'm trying to protect him from something or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know that that's beneficial to him, or or at least just being honest about our own inadequacies or limitations,
Mm-hmm.
It's hard though.
I think it is helpful.
What?
I think it is helpful to be honest with them about your own shortcomings or whatever. And like, and also to correct and apologize. Like I did a thing to Birdie over the summer that was, I just fucking heard my mother come out of my mouth, where she came downstairs to go out with a friend. And I was like, whoa, Blush.
Oh,
like
no.
She had, like, what the fuck is my problem? Like, what a jerk. That's not a nice thing for your mother to do. And she's like, Ma, in my defense, it looked as though she had taken an entire container of blush and put it on her across her entire face, which maybe is a style. And obviously it's how she wanted to look. And I have no right to be like, whoa, Blush, And as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh my God, Birdie, I'm so sorry. That was insane. That was like a thing my mom would do to me, where like she would just make an offhanded comment about, you look amazing, you're gorgeous, I'm sorry, I don't even need to and she's like, yes, right, Mom, this is the thing. I'm like, I don't even need to comment about your appearance, I'm so sorry. And she's like, looked at me like I was an alien. And she's like, yeah, okay.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
That's really good for you, because that takes a lot of awareness to be able to have it, especially in the moment, to be able to have the awareness enough to say like, oh, I fucked that up, and now I'm going to remedy that. And as much as I can, by just being honest. That's beautiful. I'm inspired. Let's see if I
thank you. Well, I still think she's, we have our moments, that's for sure. And I also feel guilty. Like I don't feed my kids healthy enough food. I'm like, am I giving them microplastics? Am I like,
oh God.
I just, there's a million things that we can all go down these rabbit holes.
To save the world, and yet it's really hard to save the world while you're also being a mother.
Well, speaking of which, though, Connie Britton, you, my friend, always show up. And White Women for Harris, we were all on that call. All of us.
Bless.
And it was amazing. I loved seeing you
It was
talk.
great. And, I really wanted to compliment you, Connie, because, you were great. You got on, you talked to everyone about the things that, you'd expect. But I also knew that there was going to be some public perception that was a little what are they doing? Why are they having this call that's directed to, and people not digging into the context of it, that this had been done in conjunction with Black women who had organized for Kamala Harris. And so I just think you were so graceful. And I think that you must have known that there was going to be a little bit of that. And somebody else might have been you know what? Let me just not do this one. You know what I mean? I just don't want to deal with it at this point. And you just went ahead and did it because you knew that the benefit would far outweigh anyone not getting what it was about. And so I think you were so graceful and amazing.
Thank you. That means so much to me. I really appreciate you saying that. I was so nervous that day. They asked me very last minute to do it. And I did have a lot of hesitation around it. But, I was super impressed with the people, Glennon Doyle was involved and, Shannon Watts. And I knew that it had been sanctioned by, and it was in conjunction with the Black women's event that had been so powerful. And at that moment, I was like, we have to do whatever we can right now. That's it.
That's right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna face that head on and right from the heart. I wrote something real fast to be able to say that thing. But it was really just about it was almost I took from my own fear and loathing in that moment.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I spoke about, because I'm get over it, white ladies. Yes. We have to do this. We have to stop being afraid and stop hating ourselves and get this woman into office. And so
100%.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Thank you for doing it. It was so great. And Busy and I were able to get involved a little bit behind the scenes, and it was so fun and such a great group. We love Shannon Watts, obviously, and you just have done such wonderful things in this very short election cycle. So thank you for using your voice and your platform.
Guys too. I mean, again, we just I basically. Once all that happened and once Kamala came in, I was like, okay, every day from now until the election, I have to do something. That's my job now. You know what I mean? Even if it's a little thing, plan when I can show up in another campaign thing or do another Zoom or whatever, or do a meeting about what the campaign, whatever. It's I feel we all need to have that be our goal, between now and election day. You got to do one thing. It's it's your job.
I was just sending my dates that I'm available for the reproductive rights bus tour.
Same. Are you going to go?
Yeah. Sophia Bush asked me if I would come to North Carolina with her. She's like, come meet me in North Carolina, girl. I'm like, okay, that's fun. And then I'm going to maybe try to do Philly. And then potentially I can do some other Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Sadly, the biggest bummer to me is that the weekend they're in Arizona, which is my home state, where I had an abortion when I was 15. I have a wedding that I'm going to, so I'm not going to be able to make that part of the tour. But I'm going to Arizona to do other things. So,
let me know if you're going. I'm shooting. I'm about to start shooting next week. So in Toronto. So not even in the U.S. of A. But I was going to maybe try to drop down into Pittsburgh. Are you going to do Pittsburgh? We'll talk.
That's what I might go to Pittsburgh because also Zach Quinto is going to be in Pittsburgh.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's his hometown.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's going to be hard for me to do that, quite frankly, since I'll be coming from Toronto, but I'll see. They
not Toronto or Vancouver. Wait, where did you say? You're Toronto? Oh yeah. Oh, so you're there, but maybe I know. But
anyway, whatever. But
working is hard.
It's a whole border crossing.
It's a border crossing.
It really
situation. It's a trying to get home to my son's situation. It's all those things.
I know, and
We
that's hard too.
understand.
How do you juggle that when you are working out of the place where he's in school?
It's impossible. I got to tell
It's
you,
hard.
I am actually getting back to the mom guilt thing.
Yeah.
It's gotten to the point where it's impossible. Like literally the thing I'm doing in Toronto is 1 week of work, and I'm actually coming home over the weekend in between like the Tuesday to Thursday or whatever that I'm working, because I shot something in New York. I think I saw you after this. I shot something in New York for 6 months, like earlier this year. And it was he's just at an age now where I used to take him everywhere with me. I just can't be gone. I'm a single mom. Like I can't just like leave him, So
No.
Right.
If you ever, I'm like, I should put you in touch with Michelle Williams. She'll talk to you about it.
yeah, I would love
Because
I was going to say, you should all band together, actually.
Well,
Maybe buy a big place together.
I know. We need a commune. By the way, that's what we need.
honey, that's all I want.
It would be helpful, right? I will offer that I also was raised by a single mom, but I think when you start to feel guilty, I'm going to say I think that you should remember that it's good for him to see you working hard and pursuing your dreams, and like that on some level, I'm sure he knows that you're providing for him too. So in those like hard moments, I bet he understands maybe more than
and I
than you
appreciate
think.
that. I feel like you're like the queen of pointing out like, but we can also have empathy and love for ourselves. I'm like, yes.
It's from my kids, to be honest. I never was like that. And then one time I had a hard talk with my kid about like going back to do a job that was going to take a lot of time and how I was feeling guilty. And he was like 7 years old. And he said, "Mom, this is what you were born to do."
Oh my God. Good job, Mom.
You have to do it.
That's really cute. That's really cute. Connie, just counterpoint. My daughter says being on television is more important than me. So, you know what I mean?
Right,
So I get
do
that.
know what you mean.
So I get that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so
it's complicated.
It's complicated.
And I
All
bet
children, all
every
kids
kid
are
has
different.
all these feelings. Yeah.
It's
Every
finding a
kid probably
balance.
has.
You have to find the balance between their sort of admiration and appreciation of what you do, and the fact that you are supporting, knowing your own value as a woman, and they need their mom, so for me that's what I've been struggling with, is like, okay, letting him see that, but also not having it completely, because ultimately it takes a toll on me, because what I end up doing is flying all the way across the country, working my ass off around the clock, and then getting on the literal next plane and flying all the way back across the country.
Because you miss him too.
Because I miss him too, and because I know that he needs me to show up. Getting back to
And we only have a certain amount of time with, while they're still home with us. So that's always something that I'm sure that like ticking clock is in your mind. Speaking of ticking clocks, you have to go pretty soon because you're doing so much press. But we wanted to talk about your other movie that's coming out on September
And they're
13th.
both coming out on the 13th, Friday the 13th.
Friday. Oh, is it Friday the 13th? Oh, shit.
Isn't it?
What does that mean?
I think
that's got to be a great thing, right?
I think that's great. I think it's a good, first of all, I know it's great for hereafter because people like to watch something a little spooky on Friday the 13th.
It's totally Friday the 13th vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great point.
And Winner, I'm fascinated by this story.
Right?
Of course, I love it. So and I saw. Did you see the play on Broadway?
I didn't. I did not see the play, but I know that I know that dialogue verbatim. I mean, I don't know verbatim, but like I've read through that whole thing. I think.
Yeah, we're talking about Reality Winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the movie that I did is called Winner. Because also, by the way, the Sydney Sweeney did another movie that was that same Broadway play, but they turned it
based
into
on the
movie.
play.
But this movie that I did, which you guys know because you know that story, I like had it. I mean, we shot it in Winnipeg. Like it was another thing where it's like I'm going so far from home. But I just feel like it was such an important story to tell. And Susanna Fogel, a really badass filmmaker, had this really great take on the movie. She's turned it into kind of almost like her story into kind of a dark comedy, which I think is such a great tone for reflecting that moment in this moment in history. It's like we have to look at it like is this fucking real? Is this
Right.
real? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
All of
it's
it.
like-
The fact that the girl's name was Reality Winner.
right.
Right.
Exactly.
That is her name.
That's her name. Yeah. Yes. And her mom, like Billy, who is also like the sweetest, most sort of like almost, you could almost describe her as like meek. And then she becomes this incredible protector and advocate for reality, like through this whole experience. So it's like, it's an incredible story. And, again, Friday the 13th, a good time to have a little dark comedy around some dark moments in history.
I'm very excited to see it. The movie's called Winner, and it'll be in select theaters, like limited release on September 13th. And then I imagine it's going to be
Streaming.
on platforms and things.
Available digitally.
Avail.
My son just said to me the other day, Mom, I don't really like going to see movies in theaters that much. Like, I'd rather just like watch it at home. Like, ugh. There we go.
That's it. No, that's it. The kids don't want to go to the theater.
They don't
They're
want to go
done.
to the theater anymore. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I don't blame them.
So sad.
I know. I don't blame them though.
I get it.
I get it.
was
I
gonna
do.
say,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Also, they can be on their phones if they're watching at home.
Nobody does not have a phone. I take pride in that.
Wow, good for
That's
right.
you.
Mhm.
You are a good mother.
Yes.
Put any doubt aside.
I know.
Right.
Connie, yes, you're amazing.
I'm sorry. Do you know what?
You're killing
it's a
it.
drug. And it's
100%.
literally fully a drug, and it becomes an addiction. And we would not introduce our children at age 13 to a drug like habit. So
No.
You're 100% correct.
but trust me, I don't know how long I'm going to make it. He's in 8th grade now, but there have been tears, but not as much as you think. It's not like he's not driving me crazy about it.
Yeah. It's also, who knows? I mean, I agree with you 100%. My kids, well, Birdie was like taking the public bus, and I was definitely
Right,
you're having a fucking phone on you. Connie, I wanted to ask you one more question before you have to go. So now we have like literally 1 minute left. How do you look so amazing? What are we doing? What's going on?
Do I? Because
And we didn't talk about how we know each other, which I was going to tell the story, but I can also just tell it on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Just tell it.
Okay, how do you look so amazing? What's happening?
What I mean, really? Thanks. Nothing. I don't do anything. Like really, I really don't do anything. I think I just.
But are there creams we should be buying?
Oh, no. I mean, again, I can't even say it. But I do have to say, I just recently discovered. Have you guys heard of May Lindstrom? Now
I know
I'm doing
May
a full
Lindstrom.
like promo for her on your thing, but I swear it's worth it. I'm obsessed. Look it up, May Lindstrom. I think you guys will be obsessed. Every single thing in all of her products is like the most beautiful natural ingredients. And I've found it to be, I've used you guys, everything under the sun that we've used and tried and whatever. I mean, you guys are both like so unbelievably gorgeous and have incredible skin, but like,
that's very nice.
Anyway, check it out. Cause I think it's like, it feels like
I'm
a
getting
gift
it.
to yourself, May Lindstrom.
I'm getting
Okay. And then can you quickly, the hair care routine?
Oh, nothing.
Nothing special?
No, nothing special. I just try to keep it, my hair is dry. So I just try to keep it moisturized with whatever I can come up with. But I
Really?
World famous hair.
Wow.
Do you have a hair campaign currently?
No, but I really want one. I feel like
You have to. You need
should.
one.
but we need to work on that.
Yes,
We're going to work on it. We're going to work on it.
I think we need it.
Right.
Busy. I love your New York apartment. It's so awesome.
Thanks. Thank you. It's really cute.
I love it.
It's a cute little
gorgeous.
space.
It's gorgeous. It kind of reminds me of your house
nice.
here, your old house here. It has the same vibe.
I tried.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out.
Sure. I get it.
Connie, we love you. You have to go. You have other interviews to do, other people to talk to. But we like to ask everybody what they're doing their best at this week. Do you have a thing that you're doing your best at this week?
Oh, a thing that I'm doing my best at this week.
Like it can be like literally eat more vegetables, or it can be some, I don't know.
You know what I'm doing my best at this week? Going back to work. because I took the summer off.
Mhm.
And that's a real like adjustment, And so today, like I did hair and makeup and Yobi went back to school just yesterday. And I felt like, and then yesterday I like did a fit, like I'm going to present at the Emmys. I did a fitting for that. I'm like, oh, I'm going back to work now. And I'm going to leave and go shoot in Toronto. And I'm like, I'm back to work. Like I'm shifting gears and like becoming that person because gave myself a break for a couple months. And I'm like, okay, I got this. I can do it. I can do it and still show up and be a mom, all the things. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay, good. I love that you're doing your best at that because it fits right into everything that we're talking about and actually both of your movies, Hereafter and Winner.
Right.
And getting rid of mom guilt and showing up for candidates that support moms.
Yes. Yes.
And our children and want our children to be safe.
And also all people and all human beings.
And all people and all human beings. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's the truth.
Connie, we love you so
Britton,
much.
You're the best. Thank you so much.
Bye, honey.
It was so happy to see your faces.
I know. It's so good to see you. I hope we get to see each other in person soon.
Me too.
Again.
Me too. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Guys.
Bye.
I need my ketone today. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's your afternoon time. You need the little
it's time.
afternoon.
It's time for my ketone IQ high performance energy. I love it. It's a clean shot of energy, no sugar, no caffeine. Although I guess they also recently launched Ketone IQ plus caffeine, which is 5 grams of ketones plus 100 milligrams of caffeine from green tea and tastes great.
Yeah. In case you wonder what it is, it's like if you could put a runner's high in a little bottle, or you could tap into that feeling of like flow state when you're working and you're just on a roll. It doesn't really have anything to do with the keto diet.
Oh, no, it doesn't have any. It's not a diet thing. It's like not a diet company or a diet thing. In fact, somebody reached out to us that listens to the podcast and said, oh my gosh, my neurologist recommended me getting that product. And then I heard the ad on your podcast and I was like, oh, fantastic. Now I have a code. Because ketones are a more efficient fuel than energy sources like glucose or fat. So your brain produces more power and uses less oxygen. It's just kind of the best.
And listen, it tastes a little wild. They told us it was okay
it's not
to admit
great.
that it's a little bit of like swallowing medicine, but it's just such a tiny bottle.
It's a shot of medicine.
It's not medicine, but it's just a little tiny bottle. I keep it in the fridge and just toss it back or mix it with a little juice or
Have you tried it with orange juice or something? I just take it like a shot. Wait, I'm going to do it right now. Hold on. Okay, I have mine right here. It's not like gross. It's just like tastes like ketones.
Yeah.
It's a micronutrient that can cross the blood-brain barrier and increase brain energy efficiency. That is like technically what it is. Okay. I'm going to drink it. I have a water chaser. Here we go.
Go for it.
That's it. I'm done.
She did it. She did it.
I did it. Guys, try it out. See how you feel. You know what I mean?
I love it. People have been tagging us on Instagram saying that they're really liking it and really liking what it's doing for them. I just feel like my go-to was always to have a coffee in the afternoon, and I don't know that was helping me, And so a little ketone IQ gets me going and gets me through the rest of my day.
Well, that's why I just did it. I'm at 2:51. I got to go get Cricket from school. And I'm just here to tell you that I'm going to feel great and I'm going to be able to sleep tonight now. Instead of having like the latte and then being awake and like not able to sleep, now I'm going to I'll be great. I'll feel good. So
perfect.
That's my ringing endorsement, guys. Save 30% off your first subscription order and receive a free 6-pack of Ketone IQ with ketone.com/busy. That's ketone.com/busy, ketone.com/busy. I just love her.
I love her. And she looked so pretty. This is one of the times when I'm like, why isn't this a video podcast? But she looked, mwah, mwah.
She looked really gorgeous. She is really gorgeous. Her I would just say like her soul shines through always. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And it grows into her hair.
It just,
you know what?
What?
She's the heir apparent to Jennifer Aniston's she might have the other great showbiz hair. Like
I think that's great. I think that's a really good, yes, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I think that's
really
right.
Great hair. Well, I mean, she's so much more than her hair. But
100.
Her hair is the cherry on top. It's good hair. Actually, when we were waiting for Connie to get on, you started talking about something, and then you said you wanted to talk about it on the podcast, and we shouldn't talk about it then. So I'm going to bring it up now.
What
You're
was it?
talking about your face.
I don't remember.
You said you're like bummed out by your face. And I said, me too.
Well, thanks for bringing that up.
Not bummed out by your face, bummed out by my face.
Oh, I've just been feeling
like we're both struggling with aging.
I've been struggling with aging recently. And oh my God, like I've recently been hearing from so many people, like, so-and-so had a facelift, so-and-so had like a mini facelift, so-and-so. And I got to repeat this shit here because it's just like gossip. But then I was like, wait, are we supposed to be getting facelifts? Like what? I don't understand. Like no one tells you these things. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just like, what is happening? And I'm very against putting filler in your face, although a lot of people swear by it, but I don't think that that's my journey in life. Yeah. And I'm going to stick to that. Okay. And I've always been and this is part of what I would say is that LA was much easier for me to know where to go and like in terms of like dermatologists and skincare and like face stuff, like lasers. Yeah. I don't know, just all that stuff. I don't have like it all lined up here in New York, and like I don't really know what it is, and I just am feeling like, yeah, I was having like that week I was really feeling it. I was like not feeling great. Give me those pictures of me at the US Open. The lighting at the US Open was harsh, and I was just like, I look so fucking old. And also like no shade, but Jason Sudeikis' girlfriend is not yet 30, and I just was like looking at her plump porcelain face, and I was just like, how do I get that back?
Oh man.
And like, as soon as I gave birth, my buccal fat disappeared. As soon as the baby came out of me, I still had to lose the baby weight, but my face was skinny. Like, do you know what I mean? I was just like, it like immediately disappeared.
Well, did you read that thing recently about how we don't age gracefully? We age in 2 significant bursts, I believe at age 44.
Right.
And 60.
Right. Well, guess what? I am 45. So
you're probably feeling that 44 burst.
Yes, except like, am I?
I don't know. And then also like to make it about me, the menopause, like your hormones start to disappear, and then shit that never like I always felt like I looked pretty young for my age. Like people always seem to be very shocked when I would say, "Oh, I have adult children." People often, and I'm not making up a story because I'm not like a super vain person. People often thought that I was a friend of my kids, and which I think is like a combination of like demeanor, the way that I dressed, the way that I deported myself with my kids, but also like my face really wasn't aging in that way until all of my hormones drained out of my body. And then like, it's just like the crypt keeper sometimes. And I guess I am vain. I guess I do have vanity that I wasn't super aware of. It's hurting my feelings. My face is hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
My face is hurting my feelings. Guys, it's funny, right? Because it's like so hot, you're hurting my feelings, but it's my face is hurting my feelings.
It's a good, we should write a song about how our face is hurting our feelings. It's
I know.
a lot. And like,
Well, it's
we're
like,
doing that thing. We're doing that thing where because it's happening to us, we're acting like it's the first time. Like Nora Ephron didn't fucking tell us that we were gonna want to wear a turtleneck in July because of what was gonna happen.
I know, but also, and then the other piece of it. Here's the thing. Here's what I just want to say. I want to offer to everyone out there and myself is that one thing that I feel like I have sort of learned is that beating yourself up about feeling a certain way about it isn't helpful either. So like, my point being, my feeling like I'm smarter than to get and more of a feminist than to get caught up by this bullshit and I should be doing better about it. That's not going to benefit me. Like that's just not, it's not. So what I'm trying to just do is like move through the emotions, accept it, move through how I'm feeling, feel it out. Like, I don't know, just take it as it comes. Like, you know, I don't know. There's not, I just am like, I'm not signing up for the facelift yet.
Right. You
But
feel how you feel.
You feel how you feel. But you know what I mean? Like, I've like beat
Yes.
myself up about the way that I feel before, being like, you should know, you should be better than this. You're better than this. To not be so looks focused, to not be vain, to not like, you know, whatever. You should embrace every fucking wrinkle on your forehead. And then at a certain point, I'm like, you know what? I just kind of don't. And that's okay too. And I need to let that go. I need to let go of the idea that I should be behaving in a certain way.
And also you will embrace these things because you literally have no other fucking choice. But a change that happens overnight and against your will that you have to like confront, like it's literally your image, like what you see when you look at yourself. Mm-hmm. That would make anyone feel off balance and weird. Like you didn't sign up for that. And also, I was just saying this to, I don't know who I was saying it to, but like it's our first time being a person. It's my first time being 52 years old. So give me a minute. Give me a minute. And if I want to like use a weird vibrator or lights on my face or whatever, don't roll your eyes at me. Don't roll your eyes at me. You know, sports betting, ATV riding, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think I hate when people are judgmental about things that like we're all just doing to like cope, you know?
Yeah. I always try to not be judgmental about whatever people do cosmetically to their faces, but
yeah.
I'm saying but that's like, this is like so me. I'm just the most judgmental about
You're
myself.
hard on yourself.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck what anyone else does. I'm just like, I just like hold myself to whatever standard. I don't even know. But here's what I know. I did look into that skincare brand that Connie mentioned. I did look into it. I did. And I like it did their little quiz or whatever. And like, they sent me recommendations. I didn't order anything, but I did look into it.
You looked into it.
I looked into it.
You're taking steps. Well, I will shout out, and I think I've given you her number before, or like gave her number to Raymond back in the day when Raymond worked for you. But my dermatologist in New York City, Adele Quintana, is the best. She's the best. She's a real serious doctor talking about all the medical stuff, but she's really great with the cosmetic stuff. And the reason I love her is because I begged her for fillers. I don't know why. It was like fillers were like everyone was doing it, and I worked at Bravo at the time. And
it was a moment.
It was a moment. Every time I went to see her, every 6 months, I asked her for fillers, and she was like, absolutely not. absolutely not. And so I really trusted her because like she could have taken my money. She could have given me a little dab here, a little dab there. And then finally, when I was like, can I get fillers? And she said a little, I was like, I believed her. I believed like it was time. And she didn't even like put a full vial. And Matt did not want me to get it done. And then after he was like, it looks great, actually. It looks great.
I love that.
So
men don't fucking know
Dr.
anything.
Adele Quintana.
Right.
I don't know
Good
if it's
rec.
Quintana. She's a great rec. She's a great rec. And her office is so nice. And they have candy and coffee there when you go and sit in the waiting room. It's wonderful. She's wonderful.
Kind of all we need.
Yeah. I love her. But
All right. Well, I'm going to work on it. Not like getting a facelift. I'm going to work on all my feelings around it. And also, by the way, I haven't been drinking at all.
yeah, you mentioned last week. You're
I
still
know.
another week. So
Yeah, I haven't had anything to drink. And I do feel like it's making me look better.
alcohol is like, I mean, we talk about how it's drying, like when you put it on your skin.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think I look better. I'm not gonna
imagine
lie.
what it's doing to all the rest of you, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, I think that's great. I'm glad you're feeling good. I don't really drink either. But honestly, if I'm being honest, it's because of carbs. Like if I'm going to have a carb, I would rather eat a cracker.
I also feel that deeply. But my go-to was always I would rather drink my carbs.
Yeah. But you're feeling good?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's like I'm like a kind of person like it doesn't really affect me. Stopping drinking doesn't really affect me. Like
Yeah.
I've done it before for months, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it really affects me, but I do think my skin looks good. So whatever. There's
Can't
that.
argue with that. Can't
No.
argue with that. Oh, also, I think that we should go back to answering advice questions on the podcast, like at least one a week, because people like it and they've been asking a lot.
I know, but I told you I think we should just make the Substack an advice column.
Maybe we can do both. So anyway, if you guys want advice from us, please write in and tell us what it is that you're seeking advice on and how you want to be addressed and, you know, whether you want to be anonymous or first name only or whatever. And then we'll just start to do that because it seems like people really like it. And it seems like I've been getting a lot of DMs from people asking for advice. And I'm like, well, let's make it part of the pod. Let's make it part of the Substack because like maybe it can help someone else. And I love giving advice. I'm happy to do it in a DM, but like if it can help someone else or whatever, or get us talking about it, then
I think it's a great idea. And I do think
Then
we should
that's a
turn the
good thing.
Substack into an advice column. I'm down.
okay. We can do whatever we want.
That's
But yeah,
the truth.
you can email busydoingherbest@gmail.com. It's still the same old email from all those years ago. What are you doing your best at this week?
Ooh, I did my best at meal prep.
You did?
Yeah, I did
What
a really
you
good
prep?
job. I went to the market and I got a bunch of stuff and currently I made these chicken breasts in the air fryer. I roasted vegetables that were going to go bad. I froze other stuff. I just was I'm going to fucking do this. I'm going to do it.
Wow.
I know. I really did a good job.
I have to say,
I cut
I've
up
been
vegetables and washed them so that they'd be ready
So
to
good.
eat. I just keep thinking about that salad bar lady.
Oh, that salad bar. So many people sent me that because
I know, of
everybody
course.
knows that lady that has a salad bar in
And
her
it's
house,
just,
like a legit
iconic.
restaurant style salad
It's
bar.
iconic. I mean, it would be in my dream.
It's so good. I will say that Matt and I have been talking so much and it's we're frugal people. He hasn't been drinking either. And I think it's because we went out to dinner with friends and he got a cocktail and it was $15. And then they asked if he wanted another one and he almost ordered another one. And he was like, I would be so pissed off if I spent $30 on 2 cocktails.
Welcome to New York. It's like that's literally what it is. No wonder none of these kids can afford fucking homes.
He has to work hours to earn $30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
when you
I
think
do.
of like all you had to do to earn those 2 watered down ass drinks.
We're not.
And then I was
no.
like, I gotta be honest, this restaurant that our friend was like, this is the best restaurant. I was like, that food was not better than food that we make at home. I have to, like, it just isn't. Some restaurants are amazing and exceptional, but this restaurant, I think that we make more amazing food at home at a fraction of the price. I love a good restaurant, but I was like so annoyed. And so we've been cooking at home a lot more too. And I made, Matt's favorite food in the world is coleslaw. And I made a ginormous bin of coleslaw that's in our refrigerator. And he's been having coleslaw at every meal. And I'm going to be honest, it's so delicious. It's so good. And I was so happy that I just prepped that dumpster full of coleslaw. That's like...
Is that what you're doing your best at this week? Coleslaw?
I did my best at coleslaw. Also, I did that, like, I worked on that Daily Front Row Fashion Awards that you've hosted in the past. And this time it was hosted by Chloe Fineman from SNL. And she was lovely. And I didn't go to the event myself because it was in New York at New York Fashion Week where you've been attending events.
I haven't really, just the one. I just went to the one.
Oh, okay. All right. I just feel like everyone I know is either at or in some fashion show in New York. So I'm seeing a ton of New York Fashion Week content. And it was exciting. Rihanna showed up to accept an award, that was a big deal. And also Eddie, my friend, who is the person that I always work with in like working on this show every year, 2 times a year. I made a joke about Jerry Hall, who is being honored. And I said that she's the reason that we have the phrase, the Hall Pass, because your dad wanted to have sex with Jerry Hall. And he sent me a text saying that Jerry Hall liked that joke.
Oh, that's cute. I love that.
She got a kick out of it. And so I was like, yay. It was nice to feel like I still get that feeling from writing a joke that I wasn't there to hear if people laughed, but to have my friend Eddie be like, Jerry Hall got a kick out of it.
It's really exciting.
I was like, yay. So I guess that's what I'm doing my best at.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we hope you're doing your best at whatever you're doing your best at. Well, we know you're doing your best at something. We're hoping.
You have to
I
be.
hope you're able to recognize it and accept that you're doing your best at something this week, even if you're having a weird week. Although planetarily, I think you should be having a pretty good week. So that's I'm hoping that for everyone.
It's supposed to cool down here in LA. We really need it.
It's real hot.
It's been brutal. I'm sure it's brutal there.
What are you talking about? No, it's like beautiful.
Is it?
No, it's gorgeous out. What are you talking about?
Oh, I thought it was. I don't know.
It's not hot at all. It's like 72 and like sunny and beautiful right now. It's like gorgeous.
Oh, so jealous.
I know. Yeah.
So jealous.
No, it's a little brisk in the evenings. It's nice. It's beautiful.
Lucky you.
Really nice. Yeah. I hope it's nice for everyone is. And guys, we will talk to you next week. And if you have a question, feel free to email.
Email us those questions. Check your voter registration. Check your podcast subscriptions to make sure you're subscribed. And send us lots of questions. It's so fun. And you guys seem to like it. So let's do it. Let's do what you like.
Okay, guys. We'll talk to you later. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh, no.